30 years, Lucas was the saint of the family, and I was the sinner. It took exactly 3 minutes at Christmas dinner for those roles to reverse permanently. I've always been the difficult daughter, the cynic, the one who asks the uncomfortable questions and refuses to just go along to get along. Naturally, when I started pointing out red flags regarding Lucas, nobody wanted to hear it. Not my sisters, not my aunts, and definitely not Dad. Lucas was the corporate success story, the one who sacrificed his weekends to care for our aging father. He took over Dad's finances when the dementia started affecting Dad's math skills. Lucas was the hero, I was just paranoid. Until this past September, it started with a moment of rare lucidity. I was visiting Dad, and he looked at me with confusion and asked, "Why hasn't Lucas visited in a month?" I corrected him gently. "Dad, Lucas is here every Sunday." Dad shook his head, his eyes suddenly sharp. "No, he only comes when he needs signatures. He doesn't stay for tea." That sentence lodged itself in my brain. Dad's memory was fading, but his instincts were often right. I decided to stop being the difficult daughter and start being the observant one. By October, I'd seen enough to make me sick. I found late notices buried deep in the kitchen junk drawer, odd, considering Lucas claimed he had put everything on autopay. Then came the real shock. A second mortgage taken out on the house Dad had owned free and clear since the 90s. And finally, the withdrawal slips. Amounts Dad would never spend, siphoned off in neat, round numbers. I made copies of everything. Then I dug deeper. The damage was worse than I thought. It wasn't just pocket money, it was a hemorrhage. Over $250,000 in equity and savings, gone in 14 months. It wasn't lost to gambling or bad stocks. It was simply transferred to a private account under Lucas's name. I found the smoking gun at the bottom of the filing cabinet, a power of attorney document signed on a date when Dad had been hospitalized for severe confusion, a day he couldn't even remember my name, let alone understand legal nuances. The tragedy was that, despite those fleeting moments of suspicion, it still lit up like a Christmas tree whenever Lucas walked in the room. He wouldn't believe his golden boy was robbing him blind based on my word alone. I knew if I confronted Lucas privately, he'd spin a web of lies. So I waited for an audience. Christmas dinner. The house was packed. The air smelled of roast beef and pine needles. We were all squeezed around Dad's mahogany dining table when Lucas stood up, raising his wine glass. He looked every bit the successful executive in his cashmere sweater. To Dad, Lucas said, his voice thick with performative emotion. To family, to always being there for one another when times get tough. "Hear, hear," my aunts chorused. Everyone raised their glasses, everyone except me. As the clinking of glass subsided, I spoke. My voice was quiet, but it cut through the room like a knife. "Lucas, why is Dad's retirement account empty?" He blinked, a smile freezing on his face. "Excuse me."